Morning, everyone. Morning, Minister. Thank you so much for making the time to join our summit here. It's a busy week for you, obviously. You're here with us today. You have the B20, you have the G20, not to mention your birthday. And the Kaiser Chiefs are playing twice this weekend, I saw. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, obviously there's some good news. The Standard & Poor's upgraded South Africa for the first time in 2 decades the other day. What's your takeaway? Is South Africa over the hump now? Is everything brilliant?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to the audience. Indeed, we have turned the corner, not only the S&P, the lifting from the grey listing, FATF grey listing. In the network industries, we have defeated load shedding, more than a year now without load shedding. We are recovering in the logistics and the commuter rail network that must enable the economy to function. But that does not mean we do not have challenges. Crime, corruption are things that we have to attend to and focus on. And we have proven that when we focus on something, we do it. And the above is an example. So indeed, we have turned the corner.
Now, you're the first African host of a G20 meeting this week. What does success look like for you? Give us your best case, worst case scenario.
The first success is that you are all here. And I believe you are enjoying
almost all.
Yeah. that for us is a great success. We have hosted about 130 meetings, incident-free, and they've all went well across the country. People have enjoyed the beauty of our country. But also the outcomes of those meetings are impactful on the global south and also on the African continent on various issues, critical minerals, issues related to artificial intelligence, issues related to financing for climate mitigation. As you are aware, we receive less than 5% as the African continent, despite the fact that we are disproportionately affected by climate change, and we contribute less financing for development. And also with regards to critical minerals, there's a clear framework that has been put on the table that we are hopeful that it will lead to value addition at source and for a compact with the private sector to enable its implementation. So we do think that this will be groundbreaking and revolutionary for the African continent. With a youthful population untapped, this will be an opportunity for them to participate in value addition, manufacturing, industrialization, but also artificial intelligence. We are usually the consumer in that space, but we are saying the G20 should enable the continent and the global south also to be on the research and development side, but also in terms of innovation. We do have the capacity. We must be given the opportunity to do it. So those will be, in our view, great outcomes that must be encapsulated in the declaration.
Can you point to one or two concrete things we can expect from this weekend, or that are going to be in the declaration that are going to be implemented soon?
The global financial architecture, its reform, already there is a good basis that was laid by the compact of the future through the UN, and also the civil commitments, which we believe we can be able to achieve in this meeting, because already ground has been laid. The issue of critical minerals that I have referred to, the adoption of the framework will also be something that we believe will be groundbreaking. Already the working group on digital platforms has already adopted a declaration with regards to the artificial intelligence. So those are already issues that we believe can be encapsulated in the declaration. And for us as South Africa, we believe that the countries that are present here must be able to take a decision and adopt a declaration. And if there is any reason for not adopting the declaration, it should be on the basis that the countries that are in the House currently negotiating are not in agreement. Maybe we can end up with a chess summary. But we do not believe that the absence of the US should paralyze the G20 from deciding and adopting a declaration.
You mentioned the big elephant, and it's not even in the room this week. I mean, does the absence of America mean consensus will be easier to reach? I mean, or in other words, how relieved are you that the Americans aren't here.
As you are aware, the G20 is a consensus-based organization. There are negotiations that are ongoing, robust, and we are hopeful that we will be able to find each other as the countries that are present to adopt the declaration and be able to take the G20 to move forward. As to whether it will be easy or not, there is emerging kind of consensus within the group, but obviously, as you are aware, it's about 19 countries. It's not easy. There will always be sticking points that have to be ironed out during the negotiation process that is unfolding to end tomorrow.
I mean, if you reach an agreement and a declaration, surely it can't be easy to implement that, especially when it comes to financing and the global financial infrastructure, if you have the richest country in the world looking the other way. Are you worried about that it will be a declaration that's going to go nowhere?
Yeah, obviously that's a concern. But as you are aware, other institutions of the UN are already paralyzed because of this withdrawal of the US in some of the international platforms. We think that the G20 should send a clear message that the world can move on with or without the US, and that the implementation will not be easy. Obviously, it will not be a walk in the park. But when there is global consensus, we can be able to find persuasive means to enable the world to function, and also for the US to be put into a line to be able to work with everyone across the globe, because multilateral platforms is the only way that we can enable the world to function. It's not a unilateral platform. And this was identified after the Second World War. It has served the world good. There is no reason now to move away from the key multilateral platforms that have served the world. Also yourself in the financial sector, it has served you good. And that's why you established the G20 and the G7. It's because of the realization that we all need to work together to build a platform that all the people of the world can converge, shape ideas to find solutions on various issues that are affecting the globe. It doesn't mean there won't be disagreements, but it does not also mean that when disagreements are there and you don't agree with certain things, you need to move out of those platforms. You need to come, engage robustly. Maybe we'll agree with you, but give us a chance to engage and put our agenda. And sometimes we will not agree with you. As South Africa this year, we have stood firm on the agenda that we've put forward because we believe it's a relevant agenda for the Global South and also for the African continent. Hence, we could not move away from the theme that we defined from the beginning of the year.
The other big country, Xi Jinping, also can't make it this week. How disappointed are you that he's not here in person?
No, we're not disappointed at all because we're aware that he has not been traveling this year. The only international trip he undertook was to South Korea, but also it was to enable him to meet President Trump. But China in all the multilateral platform has been represented by Premier Lin Quin in all the platforms. You will know that we were at the Asiana Summit, Southeast Asia. Our president was there. It was also Premier Lin there, including BRICS in Brazil, the UN General Assembly. So we are not disappointed. We believe that whichever country that can attend and it is represented at the right level, there is really nothing wrong. It's the nature of multilateral institutions. It has never even happened in the G20 itself that you will find 100% attendance of heads of states. For whatever reasons, sometimes they attend, sometimes they don't attend, but they ensure that they send a delegation. The only difference with this one now is the absence of the US, which has never happened, but we will mark them absent and continue with the business.
No, yeah. No detention, though. In terms of the US-South Africa relationship, it's always been somewhat complicated, but obviously more recently you've clashed with the Trump administration on several issues: Ukraine, Gaza, Israel, BRICS, trade. Now you've been accused of, without any proof whatsoever of genocide against white farmers. Is there any hope of some sort of reset in the relationship, or is this sort of a strained forever?
Yeah, there is always hope in diplomacy. You can't give up hope. Hence, South Africa has always been open to engage with Washington. You will remember that we also went to Washington with an aim to engage President Trump.
You didn't bring a plane.
No, we cannot afford it. We even with the G20, after there were some challenges of non-participation earlier on by Mr. Marco Rubio, my counterpart, we still opened the line with Washington. They came back around September, August. They were now beginning to participate. You'll remember they even announced that Vice President Vance will attend. So we as South Africa has always been open. The aggression is on the side of the US. From time to time, when you think that things are coming normal, they will wake up and write something on Truth Social or Twitter and all that. But we have maintained that we see the US as a strategic partner that has invested, its companies invested here in South Africa, about 601 companies, creating more than 200,000 jobs in our economy. All of them that are here, yourself, Bloomberg, Microsoft, Amazon, Coca-Cola, you name them, they invested in our economy. And they've never had a problem with BEE. They are participating because they understand that the act was created to redress past imbalances. They've never had a problem with the Expropriation Act. So if the US administration has a problem with any of our policies, it should be evidence-based. It should be you, the American company, saying this is unworkable. But we have created an environment that has made it possible, has worked, and when there were challenges, we confronted them, even on BEE. That's why there is an alternate in terms of that BEE equivalent that most of the US companies that are invested in our economy are using. And even on the issues related to Starlink, you will remember that our president met Mr. Musk even before President Trump was a president, and committed that will create an enabling environment for Starlink to invest in our economy or any of the companies that Musk is a shareholder of. We want foreign direct investment, and we go around the world saying the environment is here for you to invest. So our line of engagement with the US is still open. We are open to engage with them, but it can't be an endless aggression from their end, and we keep on extending an olive hand. As I've said, even when you look at all the accusations you have already said, it's baseless, it's false. You are here in South Africa, you will see for yourself, there's no genocide, we live together, hand in hand. But challenges are there. As I've said, crime affects everyone. Black, white, colored, Indian, all of us are affected by crime. That is what we need to confront. And it's our view that when we wanted to engage the US, we went to Washington. The US wants to engage the G20 and to engage South Africa. We remain open. They can come to Johannesburg. We can engage with them. And we are open in that regard. But we're an emerging economy. We will not be forced to take sides. We're non-aligned. Because as a developing country, we cannot afford to choose any side.
I mean, President Ramaphosa expressed optimism in Switzerland a few weeks ago that an agreement may come soon. Can you define soon?
The what?
That an agreement may come soon, a trade agreement with America. Can you define soon for us?
Yeah, as you are aware, with all other countries, including Switzerland, it's an unpredictable environment with Washington. I saw they've reached an agreement with Switzerland. Good for them. But they also didn't know when it will happen and how. So our DTIC is still in engagement with the American ATR. There is constant communication, exchanging notes. in terms of the draft agreement that they are engaging on and so forth. But I cannot tell you with certainty that an agreement will be reached on this day. But what I can say with certainty is what is currently unfolding, that there is negotiations, that it's happening, the lines of communications are open. The only issue we have continuously raised is that the issues of BEE, the issues of the Expropriation Act, the issues that relates to the redress of the imbalances of the past, given the nature of our history as a country, are domestic issues that South Africa has capable institutions to handle. Our parliament it's open, it's debated in public platforms. The expropriation bill, as we speak, is in our constitutional court. It is being challenged. South Africa has got independent judiciary. So if anyone has got a problem with the expropriation bill, they've challenged it, the court will make a pronouncement. We've got enough institutions to mitigate, to balance the scale, to open up, to deal with whatever issue that is of concern, either constitutionally, economically, or from an investment perspective.
But how can you get that message across? Clearly they're not listening on the other side.
Yeah, they're not listening because of ideological basis. It's not because the message is not getting across. As you are aware, the DEI views of MAGA, it's an ideological question to feed the agenda of white supremacy. When you look at the program of Afrikaners, that white South Africa, that for you to qualify to be a refugee, you have, firstly, you must be white. Secondly, you must be an Afrikaner. It's a race-based policy, executive order. The Geneva Convention is very clear in terms of who qualifies to be a refugee, must be persecuted and all that. So they don't meet this definition. As someone living a property nicely, not being chased by any army, and then they go into a commercial flight. So all those, it doesn't meet the definition of a refugee. So it's a clear agenda to pursue a fear-mongering. In South Africa, it's called Swartgevaar.
Going back to trade, I mean, the Swiss went from 39 to 15%. You're at 30% at the moment. What's the target you're looking at in terms of tariffs with America?
No, if we get zero, it will be a good thing.
Good luck with that.
But we are realistic. We can see that with all other countries, it ended up at 15%. But there is a dynamic, a unique dynamic with South Africa and the African countries, that even if it lives at 15%, because of the AGOA program, which had given preferential treatment, so even if it's 15%, it might still technically nullify AGOA. So that is a factor that we'll have to factor in. But we are very realistic. Zero will be good, but we can see that everyone is getting 15%. So the question will be, what will be its impact to AGOA?
If the negotiations drag on, I mean, what other partners can fill the gap that the Americans are leaving behind at the moment? Is it China? Is it Europeans? Who are you counting on to sort of forward?
We have ran a very aggressive diversification strategy, and I think from the SARS states, the green shoots are beginning to show. As you have already said, yes, China in the agriculture, beef, and many products in that space of agriculture has come in handy. The European Union has been a lifesaver. They've come in a big way, including putting almost 200 billion gateway investment into the South African economy. And the Middle East, many countries are also coming in a big way. Obviously, most of them in the Middle East and in Southeast Asia are looking for a free trade agreement that will enable this to flow faster and quicker. And that is something we're looking at as the South African government. But we're happy that already you can see the numbers coming through. And also, obviously, the coming in of the AFCTA is also a big one, because that remains the big market for South African products.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for this. Good luck with the negotiations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.